Hello, and welcome to another Saturday night's 70s show. Tonight I'm going to be working on my MGB GT, but first I'm going to answer a question off the YouTube. What am I doing with this Fiat X19? What's the plans for the Fiat X19? The idea is most of the work I've done is restoring previous British cars, Jeeps, just maintaining things on the road, updating them a bit, basically a slight modifications to the cars, but restoring them. With this Fiat, I'm planning to get a donor car, something with dual overhead cam, fuel injection, producing maybe 140 to 150 horsepower, more than about double of what the engine has presently. And use the body panels, the seats, the dash, the electrics, wiring, everything I can use to make this a better roadworthy car. Of course, it's going to have larger rims, so we'll have to play with the wheel arches, but that is the plan, is to fix the rust and swap another car under the body, basically. Because I love the shape of the X19, but this one's so far gone, it really needs something else in there to keep it going. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll get on to the MG now. Thanks. So let's have a look at the MG. Just try to do a walk around. Gotta get the keys. Add some extra light. I locked all the doors during winter time. There we go. Let's get a light. Let's look inside. Yeah, there was no rust in this, just very little on the outside that I've been taking care of, especially underneath. We got 65,000 or 66,000 miles on it. The engine, when it was running, ran pretty good from my earlier videos. I put some seat covers on because the seats are worn, but they're not worn through. But they're getting soft. The rear of the car, the rear deck lid, everything is pretty solid. The only part that got torn up was one of the side pieces. Got a spare tire, some junk carpet, but there's no rust through anything here. Just needs another paint job. So you got to put the battery in. That's underneath the seat. I kind of put the light in the car so you can see inside. Nice thick carpeting, original, not this thin aftermarket. Had sound deadening throughout the car, which when I look at American cars, they don't have that. You got to add it. And I'm converting this over from a push button windshield washer fluid where you pump to a switch with a motorized pump system for the windshield washer fluid. I got all this stuff, just need to get it in here now. And these are the original door cards. So I'm planning to keep them, except get new wood paneling behind it and just reskin it with this original door card vinyl. So it looks pretty good. One little rip that can be repaired, not too much. wrong with it. This car originally came with two 6-volt lead acid batteries, and they eventually, after freezing quite a few times, cracked. So I replaced it with a single 12-volt and moved the wiring around. Now I have to put it in. Okay, now we got the battery installed. When I was moving this car from Pennsylvania to Alberta, it had to be running and operational so they could put it on the trailer. Well, I had that for a while, and then of course the float bowls started acting up and dumping gas all over the place. And I had all the electrics working on it, lights, etc., and then it died. So now I got a battery. Let's have a see. Let's see what's going on there. Because we know we don't have the carburetors ready. And if you're wondering, these are heritage panels that I replaced, and they're not exact as the one that came off. Holes were lined up differently. It's quite interesting. One thing I was replacing on here is the fuse box. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Hold on. So the fuse box, let's have it original, but I find more of a pain. So I was thinking of putting some knife blade ones. And I have all that. So we just got to figure out why lights don't want to come on. Get the voltmeter out. So we got the marker lights, just nothing for the headlights. So we'll check out the voltage. So we got lights for marker lights, but we're not getting anything for the headlights. Now, last time I checked, we have power at the fuses, and now we'll check we have power at the terminations. Just check continuity for ground. black. And we have continuity there. Let's go to power. Well, that'll explain one thing. And we have 12 volts. So we have power going to the headlight. And we got power going to the markers, which is also power the standard headlight. Except when wires fall off. So what we have here is a 12 volt power supply and a set of lamps. These headlights are actually the original British headlights off the car. One of them works low and high beam, one only has low beam. So we're going to first test to see, we know we have power going to the headlights, but we don't know if the headlight's working, and those are brand new headlights. So first I'm going to check to make sure that the power supply is still operational. So here are the Lucas lights. They're made in England and they're the original, which, you know, you can't use here because they point another direction. And here we go. So put it on the ground, low beam, and we'll switch it on. Make sure everything works. Well, it's not going to work for long because there's smoking already inside. But we know we got power going to the light at least. And basically the power supply is going to provide enough voltage and current to light up the lamps. So now we'll go back to the lamps and see how they work. So now I've set up the power supply. I've pulled the wires from the car because they're hard to get at, and they're still hard to get at when you come out from the fender. So let's hook up our power supply and see if we get lights. Yep, there we go. So it's definitely not the headlamps. They are working fine. So I'm presuming if I got power coming here, I might have a ground issue, even though I used the ground wire to test for the other high and low beams. So we'll go through that again because both lamps went out at the same time. And so now that I got it apart, I'll take the time to sit down and go through it a lot better. So off camera, when I was playing around trying to find the voltage, and I decided to pull all the bullet connectors apart, clean them up with a Dremel. And during that, I found that the dual connectors were broken inside. So they weren't making very good contact. I have ordered another set so I can repair around the car, and that will come in a little while. But I was playing around and also started noticing, and as I mentioned earlier, about a ground issue. Sure enough, the ground wasn't 100%. We were only getting about 10 volts out of it, out of the connection, the loop circuit. So I followed it back, cleaned up the ground, and now we have perfect continuity between the body and the negative wire. So I've taken that, jumpered them across, made an extension just so I can get over to the light again. And sticking on the negative and grabbing one of the lights. I get lights. So now we figured it out what was going on. I just got to clean up all the connectors, and when they come in, we'll start working on there. So that'll be it for now. Thank you. Well, thank you for watching. It's actually taken 3 weeks to get this far. Battery installation, cleaning up the garage a bit. Every weekend I work a little bit on it, but I just couldn't get enough accomplished to produce a video. So there we sit now. Next week we'll be back on the Fiat X19 and probably just do some dent repair, possibly grinding out components or panels so that I can do some welding, and crappy welding at that. So let's see how that goes, and we'll go from there. Thank you.